Come see us doing live shows. We'll be in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only jimmydore.com. Hey, you remember that veteran in the subway in New York, and there was a guy threatening everybody?
Yeah, Daniel Penny.
he choked him out, and the guy died? Well,
He didn't choke him out.
Alvin Bragg charged him with murder. And guess what? They just found him innocent.
Wow.
They just found him innocent.
Kyle Rittenhouse?
I mean, can a man ride a subway and intimidate everybody up and down the aisle without being choked out? So they put this guy, this is the guy. So this guy was threatening people. This guy was obviously crazy.
Not this guy.
No, the guy he restrained. I won't even say he choked him. So here's a little bit of a news report from it.
You got the jokes?
The more severe charge off the table, jurors must now consider the second count of criminally negligent homicide, a lesser charge which carries a maximum of 4.
So this is before they took off the manslaughter charge. That got thrown out. And then they wanted to see if it was criminally negligent homicide. So that's what they're talking about. But you saw the video right there. He's holding the guy, and someone else, a person of color, is, I have to say that. Can I say black guy? Black guy's holding his hands. Watch.
The more severe charge off the table, jurors must now consider the second count of criminally negligent homicide, a lesser charge which carries a maximum of 4 years in prison. Prosecutors maintain Penny was justified in using some physical force to subdue Neely, who subway passengers say entered the train acting erratically, shouting threats.
He said, I'm willing to die, I'm willing to die.
But argued Penny used excessive force.
So the guy who died went on the subway. I'm willing to die. I'm willing to die. And starts threatening people. So this veteran gets up, restrains the guy. Now, here we go. And then they charge that guy with murder.
I think it was a consensual sex act.
6 minutes. In a voluntary station house interview, Penny claimed that he was not applying pressure.
Justice for Jordan Neely!
After Neely's death was ruled a homicide, the case sparked mass demonstrations in New York, accusing Penny of vigilantism. But others have contributed to Penny's legal defense fund. The jury will be back Monday to begin deliberations on the lesser charge. If they cannot reach a unanimous decision, it could result in a mistrial. Alice Gaynor, CBS News, New York.
Well, they did reach a decision. He was found not guilty. And let's see if there's a little more to this. Hang on.
We breaking news, the jury has found Daniel Penny not guilty of criminal negligent homicide in the death of Jordan Neely. Last week, a judge dismissed the top charge of second-degree manslaughter after the jury said it was deadlocked on that count. Prosecutors claimed Penny held Neely for too long, causing his death in a chokehold, while the defense argued Penny acted in self-defense. ABC's Stephanie Ramos is outside that courtroom in New York City, and ABC legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer is here with.
So I just want to show you, here's this guy's version of the story. Here's what he says happened.
East Village in Manhattan, so I take the subway multiple times a day. In this instance, I was coming from school. I got out of class around 2:15, and I took I was at J Street Metro Tech, took the Uptown F train. At 2nd Avenue, a man came on, stumbled on, he appeared to be on drugs. The doors closed, and he ripped his jacket off and threw it at the people sitting down to my left. I was listening to music at the time, and he was yelling, so I took my headphones out to hear what he was yelling. And the 3 main threats that he repeated over and over was, I'm gonna kill you, I'm prepared to go to jail for life, and I'm willing to die. You know, this was a scary situation. And Mr. Neely came on, he was threatening, I'm 6'2", and he was taller than me. So and there's a common misconception that Marines don't get scared. We're actually taught one of our core values is courage. And courage is not the absence of fear, but how you handle fear. And, you know, I was scared for myself, but I looked around, I saw women and children. He was yelling in their faces, saying these threats. I couldn't just sit still. Some people say that I was holding on to Mr. Neely for 15 minutes. This is not true. I mean, between stops is only a couple minutes. So the whole interaction lasted less than 5 minutes. Some people say I was trying to choke him to death, which is also not true. I was trying to restrain him. You can see in the video, there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he's breathing. I'm trying to restrain him from him being able to carry out the threats. And then some people say that this was about race, which is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't see a black man threatening passengers. I saw a man threatening passengers, a lot of whom were people of color. A man who helped restrain Mr. Neely was a person of color. A few days after the incident, I read in the papers that a woman of color came out and called me a hero. I don't believe that I'm a hero, but she was one of those people that I was trying to protect. We were all scared. Mr. Neely was yelling in these passengers' faces, and they looked terrified. The reason why there was no video at the start of the altercation was because people were too afraid getting away from him, and the videos didn't start until they saw that situation was under control. I knew I had to act, and I acted in a way that would protect the other passengers, protect myself, and protect Mr. Neely. I used this hold to restrain him, and I did this by leaving my hand on top of his head to control his body. You can see in the video there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he was still breathing. And I'm calibrating my grip based on the force that he's exerting. And I was trying to keep him on the ground until the police came. I was praying that the police would come and take this situation over. I didn't want to be put in that situation, but I couldn't just sit still and let him carry out these threats.
So that guy seems like a madman. Seems like a cold-blooded murderer.
So
Alvin Bragg, the guy who did lawfare against Donald Trump, is charged that guy with murder, or what was it? Manslaughter and then criminally negligent homicide.
Yeah, he's
a guy who's
George
protecting
Soros
people.
ones.
What's that?
Yeah, George Soros funded all these DAs that suck. George Soros funded their campaigns, and so the idea, and you can read George Soros's writings about it. When you create chaos, it makes historic moments possible. That's why he's not welcome in China no more after Tiananmen Square that he was a huge part of. So BLM, I don't know why BLM is still even a thing, how that's possible, but George Soros paid for that too. And it's all about he's part of the Good Club, by the way, with Bill Gates and Oprah and them. And it's to initiate change. And so the very obvious injustice of this is to frustrate you on purpose, to create more chaos.
Yes.
And that's how they get control.
And if you want to see,
I know he wrote it.
You want to see some of the chaos? Here's some of the chaos. Watch this.
Wait, hold on.
This is outside the courtroom today.
Come around this way.
He was hungry!
He was killed for being poor.
Well, he had money to ride the train.
He was hungry. Yeah,
no, okay,
that's what happens all the time. People just go around killing people for being hungry and poor.
Was he about to eat the people on the train? Is that why he was going to kill them?
Shame on you!
This is fucking sick. They don't give a goddamn about us. I didn't hurt nobody or kill nobody.
Did you care about the people on the train? That the women he was threatening, the black woman,
the black people,
people he was threatening.
No, this BLM.
This is BLM.
The people left in BLM are charlatan. I mean, it was always fake. That fat chick took all the money, but this is fake. There's only crazies. That's what those two white girls are. Those are Squeaky Fromm and Manson girls, and then this phony. But who the hell is still in BLM now? Who would still be in BLM? No one's sincere, except unless they're crazy.
Goddamn body. but I did more time than that man did for killing somebody. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
Again, no justice, no peace. This is the wrong fight. This is the wrong fight. And you know, I wouldn't doubt if half of them are being paid by somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ones that are crazy are not being paid. They're crazy.
Right.
The ones leading it, of course, are being paid. They saw the payday the other chick got. These movements are fake. All the things are fake. They're all at the behest of some psychopath oligarch.
Here's Jordan Neely's father. This is the guy who got killed or died. He didn't get killed. He died. His father. Let's remember that the guy was homeless and he had 42 arrests under his belt. So the guy was obviously mentally ill and dangerous. Now,
Yeah,
I
good
would
work
argue
defunding
that
police. Good work.
I would argue that we need to fund mental health services. That this guy should have been in a mental health facility somewhere. So, believe me, New York doesn't need more cops. What they could use is some mental health facilities. They could use some social workers and outreach. And so this guy was homeless and arrested 42 times. And now his dad shows up. So this person says Jordan Neely's father is suing Daniel Penny.
Jeez.
Says he misses his son who was homeless and obviously mentally ill for a long time. He was arrested 42 times. He got on a train and threatened to kill strangers.
Where's the mom? That's weird.
So Sarah Rose says Neely was homeless, had 42 arrests. Where was his father then?
But she says buckle up for rides, but I don't believe that. I don't think anybody's. This ain't no like that guy. By the way, was on K2. Besides being schizophrenic and threatening to kill people, was on K2. You know what that is?
No.
Synthetic marijuana, and people are known to have psychosis, especially males. It's way like instead of weed's illegal, they made these things that you'd buy in like a smoke shop, and that stuff can make you real psychotic. It's real bad.
So.
I just want to say, I miss my son. My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either.
Somebody could ask, hey, what exactly did you do to your kid to make him a violent drug addict?
Yeah. Well,
did you know your kid was a violent drug addict and he was homeless? And absolutely zero sympathy for the people on that train.
Yeah, because it's a narrative. This is just like when Kyle Rittenhouse, the Indian guy, the Indian immigrant whose businesses are being burned by white people that were mad about some other guy who was a stinking criminal, who was an absolutely justified shooting, by the way, the guy that they write about in it's all a narrative on purpose to cause problems.
Yes.
So the thing of buckle up for riots, like, I think it's a dumb thing to say.
Well, so I don't want to be insensitive. Well, let's listen to what this guy says.
I just want to say, I miss my son. My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either.
I don't want to be insensitive, but it looks like you're leaving out a giant gap of information about how we got here.
Yeah,
so
it's phony. You think that sounds like genuine?
If you missed your son, you would have done something about him a long time ago, no? I mean...
Yeah, right.
Is this for the camera? For a big lawsuit payout?
Of course.
Showed up. His kid was homeless, drug addict, violent, assaulting people. He showed up at the perfect time, though, didn't he?
You think he was there for the kid's childhood? Because I'll make a bet with you right now that he wasn't. What did he do to his son? He probably wasn't even there. You can't even blame him.
I'm not sure if you are covering this part, but his mother was murdered.
His mother was murdered.
Yes, so he.
Well,
so the guy's obviously the guy's
in 2007. His mother was murdered. Neely's body was found in a suitcase off the Henry Hudson Parkway in the Bronx. She had worked as a telemarketer in Midtown Manhattan.
You think his dad would step in once the mother was murdered and to take care of his son a little bit? This is all bullshit. That guy, this is bullshit.
It hurts. Really, really hurts. What are we going to do, people? What's going to happen to us now? had enough of this. System is rigged.
But you didn't have a problem with your kid being homeless and a violent drug addict attacking people on subways?
No, he didn't even know him.
They
They didn't talk.
They act like his kid was sitting in the park and people jumped him and killed him.
This is for the TV.
This is for the lawsuit.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, it couldn't be more obvious.
Here's him after they got the not guilty verdict. He's with his lawyers. Want to see this?
How you feeling?
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
He's feeling good. He's feeling good. He's feeling good.
What's up? Come together. How's it going? How's it feel?
Feels great. He's finally got the justice he's deserved.
Did you think it was going to happen?
Sorry? No, we think that this should have happened probably on day one, but the important thing is it happened. So we can't control the timing of it, but you can certainly savor the outcome.
And why do you think it was not guilty?
That's him. That's that guy.
Well, he's not guilty on a few different reasons. Because his actions were justified. He was trying to help people on that train, and he did. And number two, he's not responsible for the death because the death was caused by a lot of other factors that we tried to present with a lot of clarity, such as the K2 abuse and the sickling crisis, and cardiac issues. Not to mention the paranoid schizophrenia, which only added to that impact. So I'm just glad that the jury was.
So he's on K2. He's got cardiac issues, and he's a paranoid schizophrenic. And they're going to try, and he's assaulting people. So here is Chandler Crump tweets this out, says, it's so embarrassing to see so-called black leaders attacking the acquittal of Daniel Penny. Jordan Neely wasn't being, so here's what he said. Listen to what he says.
We need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us.
He says we need some black vigilantes. People want to jump up and kill us and that's not what happened.
A black guy helped. You got
a
one.
Black guy
the
helped
black
him.
guy that helped subdue the crazy person.
There was a black
threat.
That's right.
I wouldn't even call it a vigilante.
So this guy talking to just go attack people randomly? Because that's what it sounds like.
That's the BLM guy. That's the
BLM guy saying we need to go attack people randomly. Because that's what he's saying, right?
We need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do?
Yeah, that's not what happened. Nobody choked him and killed him because he was being loud. As Chandler Crump points out, Jordan Neely wasn't being loud. He was a violent criminal that needed to be stopped before he hurt more people. That's what was happening.
Why is he more emotional than the father?
Is
he the real father?
What is going on? This is the craziest thing I've.
I told you, George Soros funded this. George Soros funded BLM from the start.
Yeah, it's continued
All
to
that
incite
bullshit.
violence between
people. So this guy's going to go out and incite division and violence and riots?
That's what the money is for. The money from George Soros is to do that so that we can have a constant crisis. What do you think? They're going to give up on the plan? They're not. They're not giving up on the plan.
So now
people need money.
So he wants more people to go out and become like the guy that Daniel Penny took down. Crazed.
Yes.
Crazed, violent.
Of self-defense and perpetration, and then we can have this nonsense all the time and get really divided. But I don't think it's kind of late in the game to be trying to pull this, because if you notice, Trump got a record number of black guys voting. Now, not black women, maybe black women, I don't know, but a lot of black women are federal employees, so that's where they're going to be loyal to the government. But the black men are not loyal like that. Anybody who's still in BLM at this point, you're getting paid to be there, or you're a crazy person. There's only two possibilities. There's no one, okay? You remember the parade of these stories that we saw? All the mothers of those dead kids got screwed over by all these fake-ass leaders that raised money for them. Every single one. Ones where the cops were wrong, or I think the cops were wrong, and the kid died. The mother got screwed by BLM or by that guy who's white and pretends he's black, Sean King. This is an industry. This is an industry. You make money doing this. So that's the guy's hustle.
Same when they attempt to oppress us.
Right.
I'm tired.
Okay,
It's
so
just
this
emotional nonsense.
I don't know who Chandler Crump is. He looks like he's African American.
Listen, black people have caught on to who's bullshit in this. They really have. On the news, they're going to show you this. This is why I didn't like that lady say get ready for riots, because that's a touch of like, oh, these blacks are going to riot. No, they're not. No, they're not. You can once all those illegals came in and you saw poor people going, hey, they're eating the cats. By the way, that was a black guy saying that. It wasn't white people. Okay. Once black people saw you're paying illegals to come in and giving them credit cards and saying, screw you, I bet that was a big factor in figuring out, oh, not only does my life not matter, no one who was born here matters. Because that's what your leaders feel about you. That's what the healthcare thing is. Your life, no one here, literally no lives matter to the psychopaths that run things this poorly.
That is true. And now you got the black mayor of New York City saying, I want to have a meeting with the Trump's border guy to help facilitate the deporting criminals who came here illegally.
You know why he's doing it? You know why? You saw at that thing that I wrote those jokes for that Trump did. What is it, Al Smith dinner?
Yeah.
Al Smith brought him up. I mean, he was in big trouble at the time, right?
He's still in big trouble.
Trump goes, I got a feeling he's going to be all right. He's gonna be all right. And right when he said that, I go, oh, this guy's going to be fine because he's going to get some kind of pardon. That you could see who's making deals and getting out or whatever they did.
Yeah, but
I always thought,
that's not a new. You know, Eric, what's his name? Eric Adams is. You know, he used to be a Republican. He's an ex-cop.
The important thing is he's a fellow Freemason.
Yeah. But anyway, so this is
Diddy the key to the city, by the way.
So this thing, I don't think this is working. Is my point. I don't think this.
BLM? Are you joking? BLM's done. No one cares. I mean, I don't even know how they're going to try to get that going again. That was such a went nowhere. All they got out of it at the end of the day was a black stripe on the gay flag. That's all they got. And
it's funny, after that whole summer of violent protests led by BLM and the FBI, they elected Joe Biden, the guy who's responsible for putting black and brown people in prison. He's pardoning his crackhead kid, but making sure black people go to jail for 40 years for doing the same thing his kid did. Yeah, that was your reward. The system you voted for that, and that was your reward. What?
Dude, black people figured it out already. The white liberals, like those two dingbats sitting there, a lot of them haven't figured it out. But if you got to live, remember we watched that guy in Philly talking to Fauci? It was great. I love that guy.
That black guy?
Yeah, so people know what's up. The only way they don't know what's up is if they're paid not to. So federal employees, rappers, basketball players, they don't know what's up. But if you got to live somewhere, you know exactly what the bullshit is because you've been through it already. And enough poor people got screwed over by these groups that they talk. I watch all this stuff. And, dude, I want to get Lord Jamar on here, the guy from Brand Nubian, because I remember watching him on DJ Vlad, and Vlad's a moron. He goes, you don't like BLM? And this has got to be like 3-4 years ago. And he goes, no, that didn't come from us. That came from George Soros. And he's a radical guy, you know? So people know. There's no radicals that don't know. The only ones that are acting like this are being paid to. The whole system's set up for that. Brooklyn Dad defiant. He's still defiant, right? He's not like...
Yeah, that's all. Those are all paid ops. Brooklyn Dad defiant. He's a psyop.
And let's remember, the bottom line is it's easier to divide us through racism because they don't want us to come together as a class.
That's right.
Because really, the real war is a class war.
That's right.
They're enslaving us.
You know, black
goes
guy
back to Rome, or even further.
You know, let's remember, it is a class war. They don't want us to realize we have more in common than divides us. They want to amplify stuff like this. And Christian Smalls, a black guy, organized a bunch of Trump voters on Staten Island, the first union against Jeff Bezos and Amazon, because they shared a common interest. And that's the thing that scares them. And don't let them, don't forget that. Don't let them divide us by race or gender or sex or ethnicity.
Because they're working hard on that.
Or your sexual preference, because they are working hard on that.
You know what they learn in really good schools? Like that guy that shot the health CEO went to? I can't remember the particular Caesar's name, but his treatise on the Punic Wars and Hobbes' Leviathan, those are all things about how you divide a population to rule over them. They're all described how to do that. So they're taught that at very expensive schools. And I don't even think they think of it in conspiratorial terms. I think it's just natural because they look at you like a bug.
So there was a black guy threatening other black women. And then the veteran, the white guy, restrains him with the help of another black guy.
And at that moment, do you look at somebody's skin and go, oh, my God, I don't want to get involved because he's another color? And
no, you don't. You do that later afterwards when you see how you could profit or get some little bit of power or get some political, serpent race angle. That's when this bullshit comes out. In the moment, the guy's a Marine, so he did what a Marine does. He's trained to help, and he didn't even try to kill the guy. The guy died because he worked himself into a frenzy on K2, and he already had a heart condition. Oh, by the way, bad news for everybody too. I know people don't like to hear this, but George Floyd had a mix of meth and all his fentanyl stash in his system, and did not die from the cop.
Well, that's so. I remember when I heard that's another story. I don't want to mix it, but I didn't. They kept that part of the story
out.
So when the cops called, he had a bunch of fentanyl on him that he took, right?
Yeah,
because he didn't want to get caught.
That's what drug addicts do. Okay, now.
So anyway, that's a whole. I don't want to mix these stories.
Well, they're all the same story. Here's one that I got suckered by,
and that's what started. Angry. That's what started the Black Lives Matter summer protests.
We know something's going to pop off. We just got to find the perfect thing, and this is the one. And we're going to launch our stupid plan. And guess what? It worked to create a lot of division. But what brought people back together was the shooting of this health CEO.
Ha. And now they're trying to divide people again. It's just when people came together. Come see us doing live shows. We'll be in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only jimmydore.com.